Go time! Oh, Fleta! Jonak is indestructible. This is unbelievable. They just can't kill this guy. That's one tick already for Seoul Dynasty.
NYXL have positioning. That's a huge turnaround.
Seoul Dynasty coming up with the kills.
Munchkin!
New York has been in control of this point. They are now in control of the fight. Save the Obi.
Just mowing them down. It's going to be a barrage for Fleta. Surprise, surprise!
For the Seoul Dynasty. Number 2 overall with a 13-3 record, but so far they are the kings of Stage 2. The only team with a perfect 6-0 record.
Absolutely. I mean, these guys, the meta has been favoring them more than any other squad. They said it, and it really shows. You get players like Fleta that are now flexing over to the Sombra. The Tracers are now becoming that much better. Just this team has improved massively from Stage 1, which is crazy to say because they were already just amazing there, barely missed out on playoffs, and now they're definitely gunning for the top.
This is Fleta's time to shine as well. There is no Widowmaker on the other team really to shut him down because Savior B, we assume, is going to be playing Tracer most of the time. If he's playing Genji, he can get aggressive and he doesn't have to deal with Savior B trying to peel him off because he's going to be playing aggressive. There should be so much space for Fleta to have a superstar performance. He has to live up to the hype.
When I talked to the team about their focus for this very game, they all agreed that this is going to come down to reactionary playing, quick counters. Because if you watched NYXL playing recently, they have been super quick to make those small adaptations in the previous games. So this is something...
We've been seeing him put up some great results.
And we have been seeing Seoul mix up their roster a little bit early on this season. In all honesty, 4 out of the last 5 games for that healing to really tick forth. But ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. This is going to be your match of the stage. Surely, coming right up. It's going to be an NYXL on the attack in the whites. Capture.
Yeah, it's going to be New York getting on the point. It'll be Meko that gets there to just try and stall this out. Mono used the primal range, got up top. It's going to be Fleta here at the front door. Trying to use his tac visor. 3 members on the point for Seoul. Here's a sound barrier.
Big sound barrier as well, just with the Dr. Rawdon. Libero down, Ark's also missing it now. It's going to be just down to Mono here in the fight. Still going to attempt to capture the point, but not having a DB here is really rough. Going up against the 76 and Zenyatta combo, but might not matter. Jehong, oh, he's had better days, but he's hanging on. That's beautiful. Meko and Jonak have both fallen here, and Savior will be just coming over right here.
You do have Transcendence again. It'll be Toby,
who does have the pressure on the Seoul Dynasty. Fleta with a tactical visor from the high ground. Libero was missing. He had a Dragon Blade. It's going to be walking to save New York. Keep it Seoul. We're going to win this one out, surely. Money drops in onto the point, and Jonah coming with a Transcendence here. You can see in the background, Ark's trying to get that damage down on Fleta, but the sound barrier is making Seoul tough nuts to crack. Mono's down now. Munchkin stands on the point. That's 2 ticks. Saviomi and Meko jump into the fray. Defense matrix already tested to its limits, and that's another Transcendence from Jehong. Are you kidding me? It brings it back in now. Meko in over the top to be desuited with the Dragon Blade on the backline, but Libero managed to yield him a kill. Saviomi, Libero down, Meko desuited, Ark falling, Mono trying to get to the point here. We are in overtime. Unbelievable, just popped on the shield. Overtime is about done. First map, New York Excelsior. These 2 teams are going to go all 12 rounds in the boxing ring, slugging it out. And we are...
I know this is a good map for the Pharah, good map for Genji as well.
We noticed in a previous map, we did mention it, that generally speaking, the DPS duo of New York Excelsior had a much higher amount of final blows, but it's important to notice that
when overall players dive in on that 76 Ana Zen combination, they need a little bit more extra help. And let's say a Lucio is there, and that allows Jonak some more space to do work.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump in. Nepal, map number 2, we're starting with Sanctum. We're going to have an Orisa here for New York.
Triple tank for Seoul here with, no, quad tank with a Moira here for Seoul Dynasty. So interesting. Probably not the best comps against NY. It's going to be Libero with a pick early.
No, like Saviobi, look at him. He's playing away from the rest of his team, sneaking around. Jonak's caught up in the corner there as well. He actually dives into the entirety of Seoul. Jonak now in the back line, somehow stayed alive for quite some time. Again, this tank-heavy lineup from Seoul. A little bit tricky for NYXL to break through, but look, they're transitioning to the point. They've actually captured that. Meko just takes a breather, but he gets pinned. Miro's got no time for those shenanigans. And now Seoul should be able to retake control here. Sabiobi drops onto the point as Widowmaker, so he's only there just to die on the point and stall a bit. That's all that New York are attempting to do now. and it might be time for them to back out. No, Ark wants to stay up in the sky. Zumba wants to chase him though. Ark's looking very, very low. Chase on a Libero now, micro rockets. There's an Orisa shield in the way. Libero's barrage found Toby.
Yeah, and what do they really have to do with Libero? It's really just Zumba going at him time after time.
Thoroughly, the map in general is good. Here's the Transcendence coming in, so Flatter probably looking to hold the tactical visor now and just try and take cover. No, we're going to slightly later Transcendence for Seoul, and this might be the opening here. Flatter coming forward. Again, trying to connect these Helix rockets, the pulse bomb. Going to get dropped anywhere in particular now. It's time for the tactical visor. Immediately a recall comes out from Saviobi, but he pops up right in front of Flatter, right in the man's crosshairs. Two very important targets from NYXL actually. He almost went down. Munchkin, a lot of scrutiny for Libero here. He gets the D-suit, but knows he needs to escape. The fight ended, the checkmate, the coup de grace, and there it is! 1-1 in this series. Seoul Dynasty continue the trend of being rather strong on these control maps. Even Stevens at the halftime break, mate. How could we ask for any more?
And that first fight that they were able to win when New York runs Libero on Pharah.
Stage 1, when New York actually made that change through the series, and everyone's like, why have they done this? And
Well,
we surmised that this was a planned thing, that at this point in the series, we see a switch in main tank.
Yeah, I mean, they had, Janice came in on Nimbani in stage 1 against London in stage 1. He's kind of fallen out of favor here in stage 2, but pretty good on a map like Hollywood, can spam those chokes. And then Munchkin will play the 76 here. As,
What is this? Savior channel off, and a Flatter's been taken down by Jonak. That's a huge barrage! Zumba and Miro have fallen, Supercharger are also blown up. And just at the depth of things, the NYXL have control of Ryujehong. Unbelievable. Found himself 2 kills. Jonak's fallen here. A 3rd kill for Ryujehong. How is he doing this? Samuel is missing. You can see an attempt now for Flatter to get back on the point. Toby's down. And now Meko is going to be there. It looks like New York get up.
Seoul Dynasty running triple tank, and so instead of a lot like we saw in Nepal, now they're running triple tank here instead of quad tank. You're going to have Fleta play Junkrat, Ryujehong on Moira. Should be able to get a ton of value healing these tanks. It'll be Moira on the other side for NYXL. NY also has Libero playing Pharah. Should be able to get a ton of free damage.
Yep, Seoul want to be the first people in Starbucks, get their cold brew and get off to work. They've taken position up inside the cafe away from New York, which has put New York in a compromising spot themselves. Good hook connection from Munchkin, but he wasn't able to get the follow-up damage. The defense matrix did prevent that. Defense matrix can't stop hook from Roadhog, but it can stop the follow-up. There's another one though. Meko gets drawn in. Can he protect himself this time? No. The defense matrix gets pretty much eaten up, and now it's on to everybody else. 3 people down in the space of a second. Seoul really dishing this damage, and the tanky composition comes in. Seoul Dynasty will have their cake, and you know they'll eat it too.
It's another difficult part about playing Pharah against these tank-heavy comps. If you don't get those
high ground there, lurking perhaps trying to stay alive or find a pick, but it won't be there. All right, boys, find each other's hands and get up to the next map. That was impressive from Seoul. But more than anything, that first point hold really...
right? Because it is a different feel, like a map like this, right? Where it's got like kind of like a control brawly style at the beginning, and then we kind of go into the payload aspect. You know, maybe it allows them to really kind of perfect some. Seen Seoul Dynasty lose an escort map here in stage 2. But if we want to see more Overwatch between these two teams, New York going to have to get healed up before they use it.
Yeah, he doesn't want to go for it quite yet. He doesn't know if there's any sort of defensive ultimates yet. No, just to follow up on the damaging and the cleanup. It's going to be the self-destruct coming in there from Meko just to get his mech back. But Libero's down again. Ryujehong, you monster! Removes him from the fight. And that's a latent pulse bomb. He gets another. Meko gets de-suited and taken down. And Ryujehong's had enough of this nonsense. Now he's starting to fire up. Finds Mano. Charged Discord orb there. Coming in with the orbs of destruction. And now gives the Transcendence over to the rest of the Seoul Dynasty. They are far from done. Jonak pushed back into the corner, and Ryujehong, you better believe he's going to take credit for that kill. Libero discorded, trying to back away. A very tense fight, but NYXL haven't really been in this one. They've just been stalling out. It's been a matter of formality here. Just fun and games as they try and hold on.
And Mano does have a primal range to use, decides not to use it there towards the end.
And we'll send that overtime tick away. We get ourselves a map 5. Make some noise. This is what we wanted. We saw what the schedule for this stage was going to look like, Matt. We saw this game coming. We hoped, we prayed it would deliver.
We had Ruins, the Sabiel B versus Fleta Widow match. Or maybe we see whether Libero play I know the Widowmaker.
Yeah.
Looks
The
like
question is it enough to clinch it on Seoul here on the map of Ilios, Matt? That's what we're here to find out. Make some noise. Map 5. It all ends here on the map of Ilios. What a map. Winston's going after both 76ers. Mano actually comes out on top, though.
And Mono, he's going to get very close to taking out Jayhong here. Doesn't exactly do it as he
Dronak there as well thinks twice about pick. Clean kill. NYXL take the series 3-2. Once again, the victor in this.
Oh, wicked. Helix rocket right to the face.
Prophet yet again. He's a madman.
Fleta with 2 already. Oh, man.
Now it's going to be Bird Ring. It is the show for him.
Cart is inching there. Toby is on Bastion.
Munchkin, jeez, this guy is going crazy this map.
Oh! And now Jester can go to town.
Only by a hair's width are they able to take victory today.
Let's bring them out. It's our first squad of the day, your Seoul Dynasty. Some of the biggest names in the game today. Miro, one of the greatest tanks in the game today, leading the charge. This squad, they brought to New York. This is where you turn the week around and finish strong.
Yeah, and specifically Miro, he's really turned his game around from stage 1. We sort of criticized his play. He couldn't really figure out his role, but so far in stage 2, he's been amazing so far. Figured out his limits, rarely die and overextend, but still very effective towards the backline.
This is one of the teams who just really benefited from this new meta. It seems to be playing exactly into their hands, and every single role on this roster is now on their highest possible level.
Yeah, I might have those inherent London biases for obvious reasons, but I mean, you cannot discredit this squad in the slightest. These guys were really at the pinnacle of Overwatch when they were playing it heavily and on a regular basis. They've got such incredible talent in this roster, and they are not holding back any punches at all. I mean, they've got Fleta. I believe I saw Munchkin on the lineup as well. I mean, Munchkin had an incredible game when he last played. The guy was an absolute monster on a
insane team and the loudest fans as well.
Incredible stuff here. The crowd loves Seoul
the Tracer play of Munchkin. And can he enable Fleta, on that 76 to really pop up? You need to be able to, duel that other Tracer, just get them weak, let that
past gestures, arrests the barriers, and start beating heads in. 2 very different compositions we're about to see come clashing together. Here we go! Seoul Dynasty going to be in the white.
76 hit scan player.
All right, well, Jester got that nano booster now. He's going to try and double down with the use of the Primal Rage. He does note with interest that Jayhong has actually been forced to use his Transcendence on the high ground, but that's okay for Seoul because they keep themselves topped up as they approach the point. Both of them survey the situation, but Fleta's doing just the same thing from the high ground. Tactical Visor is there. Throws down the Bardic Fuel, but actually doesn't get much healing out of it now. The Transcendence. This should pave the way for Seoul once again to go in for an attack. They've only got 1 tick per 1 fighter, but Dosen from the high ground. It's a shutdown, but Zuma responds. A 2-man self-destruct. Both DPS players for London have been removed. They double back quickly to the door. They were being flanked out by Bidosen. He's down. Wuyo now gets a nano boost, but it won't be long-lived as he gets de-suited and the Discord Orb is applied for the extra damage. Gesture in. Bergring trying to follow up the backside here. The Winston already down. He went so quickly, and that may well be it. That's it for a team.
Probably going to go on a Gesture as soon as the push comes in. Yes, there it is.
That's a nano boost here. Gesture knows exactly what he's looking for. Doggedly pursuing, and he's going to force the Transcendence out of Jayhong again. Jayhong hasn't been able to press Q at his own volition this entire map. How gone towards the point of pressure, but no! The margin was way too thin. The London Spitfire start off strong.
More versatility.
Do you see a bit of that in Boston as well? Like a team that sort of wants to run their dive comp defensively, and actually if they try and play a really defensive comp, they just don't really
I really like what they did is when they baited Seoul into getting a few mouses later. I got the hang of it, but I just switched over to Winston. I was like, screw that. I'm not putting myself through that anymore.
And Massey, the sound barrier, going to help a lot with this. They love to brawl. They love a bit of chaos, and Bernering needs to back away. Micro Rockets, though, probably a little bit more than he could chew. Ruby flattens. London Spitfire take off.
So London uses their speed boost to get out of that corridor, right? Because they want to disengage. They then get sound barrier. What they do is they use sound barrier, and then they use another speed boost, and they're starting to go towards Seoul. And as soon as the win doesn't exactly get that monkey off of your back, like a series win, like we're not out here celebrating maps. This isn't a.
And the monkeys sat on their backs drumming like a good Chinese massage, mate. Like hammering it in there, and they're being reminded all the time. Now, this is a player, it just means that he's the most vulnerable part of the Seoul Dynasty, which is being exploited.
I think it's more of a team thing with them getting back there to protect him more than anything. London on defense, I'll have Gesture on Orisa, and you'll have Birdring play Widowmaker. So we see them run this. We saw it in stage 1 a little bit on Navani that used to run a comp like this, or Birdring would play 76 and just kind of run around up on the high ground. They kind of do the same thing here on King's Row. Use that high ground and just let Birdring kind of get lost. And now with all these tanks in the equation, see how Seoul decides to play. To go right into the corner. And it looks like they got body blocked. They weren't able to make that jump.
Wuyal just booped him mid-flight, so they didn't make it across. Munchkin, though, hit the low ground. Now he's trying to return up, but the damage is too much. He couldn't even vape his way through that one. Taken down by Wuyal, but Gesture falls to Miro. Now the Reinhardt can set up on the point here, which is great. It's going to give the Seoul Dynasty a defensive zone to work around behind that shield. And Prophet, you cheeky little man, getting a little bit too close to Zumba, who spots him out. The Micro Rockets find their spot. I mean, Zumba's had an incredible series so far. Really the biggest performer on the side of Seoul Dynasty thus far. Let's see. Birdring's on that high ground on that Widowmaker, but he can't shoot.
Yeah, he can't do anything. I mean, Miro's just standing there with his shield up as Seoul getting very close to taking the point. Nuss will use his Valkyrie. That's a correct response to Jaehong using Coalescence. They get up to the high ground.
Prophet, hello?
Do you not
Hello?
said Prophet? Come on.
Oh man, Zumba's just doing so much work right now. Prophet was like he wasn't even aware that the Diva would still be there. Oh, how about another one? How about Padosin? Zumba is just the man right now to fix all the problems. Great use of the Diva's mobility there.
A lot that they can do up in the sky. But who is healing him? You have Jaehong as Moira going to use a Coalescence right now as they deback Wuyal. But I know Toby can't really provide much healing up in the sky to Fleta either.
I don't know what Gesture's trying to do here. I think he didn't expect to lose Wuyal when he did, or Nuss going down. But he was went in there to make space for who? For Prophet? I don't think so. He wasn't in a position where he could get part of that fight. Absolutely reasonable, but Gesture wants a bit of a fight again. Gets the charge in. Knocks him down. Miro now being put up against a corner. That's not where Reinhardt wants to be. A lot of damage there. Some free charge up, at least for Munchkin, but Miro should be cut down here. Wuyal trying to pursue him. Gets to sleep through the defense matrix. It doesn't matter. This series is already over. History repeats itself. And the Seoul Dynasty once again pull up short. Is there a big difference between the two?
Oh, without a doubt. I think Prophet was just a beast on Zarya, able to land those grabs, 10 grab kills like I mentioned. Average energy between the two.
Classic. In stage 1, Seoul Dynasties were, I think it was Seoul, their worst map type was actually a score, I'm not sure. I mean, that was Junkertown, so yeah.
And they did lose it to New York. Time to really push back, they'll answer back though with a Transcendence. They want to get aggressive yet again.
Fleta, Dragon Blade time.
6 seconds left.
He knows now it's his chance to go in. He's found 2. Fleta, get a Disu here on Wuyal, and that's a pretty good job done. He found both supports. The timing was excellent. He knew when the trans was over. Fleta comes in with the face. The gauntlet to complete the series. Wuyal there as well, looking pleased as punch, and why wouldn't he?
They're such a dominant squad.
I mean, it is crazy, right? And we saw them drop that series to...
They're such a dominant squad. I mean, it is crazy, right? And we saw them drop that series to